Wassail. It's the 17th, and this morning Saturn moved into Aquarius, and we've been waiting for that. In 2 days' time, Jupiter will join it, and then 2 days after that, the great conjunction between the two planets, when they'll get so close together they'll appear to the naked eye like one star in many parts of the world. And I've been reading online a lot about how they think this might possibly have been the Star of Bethlehem. Whether that's true or not, and how you work that out, since we're not really sure exactly the date of Jesus' birth, I leave to speculation. So the energy has transformed this morning. So we're looking at the lower heart chakra, the natural world, gifting us with karma. And look, the sun has come out. It's absolutely gorgeous, the sunshine coming down. So we're going to be looking at Oceanus and the Orcas. There's a little bit of wind just picking up, so might have to fold the cards underneath this cloth just to make sure that we don't lose them. Also, I've got just tarot cards today. I did a reading yesterday that was all oracle readings. It wasn't a general reading, it was for somebody, a personal reading. And today they're talking about how I need to go into just tarot for these messages. I've been trying to settle into this energy for a few days, and it's been very difficult. There's been a whole series of very odd things going on. My MacBook has completely died. It didn't show any traces of preparing itself to give up the ghost, but that particular technology has just gone, so I no longer have my computer. I have my phone, but my phone's data had gone weird, and my phone company kept trying to say that I owed them lots of money, even though I'd bought an add-on to try and upload the last 5 readings to you. So I've been having technical issues, and instead of worrying about them, I've just let go of everything, because the cosmos is up to stuff, and us trying to push, manifest, do anything right at the moment, as the readings kept saying, stand still, and let the energies merge and move and swim around us. I've now got something in my eye, but I'm just going to ignore that as well. So we're going to begin with this Tarot Grand Luxe, which I often call my political deck, because the seas are up to something. I have been getting a sense of some of it. It's kind of, I want to say, like there's a war chest being gathered, but I'm not really sure what it means. I've had different messages around this subject. So I'm hoping that Oceanus and the Orcas will provide us with the answers. So Oceanus, or Oceana, his feminine flip side, is the source of all water and emotions in the cosmos. And Oceanus is also the figure at the centre of the Trevi fountain. Trevi. Very much playful. That's the interesting thing. When you look at Oceanus in the Trevi fountain, he's not like Neptune or Poseidon. He's not got a great big trident, and he's kind of coming in with that warlike energy, which is interesting, given the energy frequency I'm feeling. But he's sliding, skipping, playing with the birthing of emotions, and so I feel that's very important. Orcas, all whales and dolphins, connect to the water world that's in another dimensional frequency around Sirius B, which I have visited in meditation, but also once in the physical world. There was a woman I met a couple of times, and we'd been discussing things, and she came to visit me while I was in the sea, and I was in a dream world, and she made me jump. And as we talked, she was saying she only felt at home when she was in the water, and as she said that, it was like the dimension just completely switched. And I said to her, did you just feel that and see that? And she did, and we both kind of stood there, no longer in Hastings, but in a water world somewhere around Sirius B. Anyway, I would say that those kind of frequencies are, at first I kept thinking it was my higher self and where it inhabited, but I think what we need to think of is that our higher self is merely our other selves, plural, because in the non-linear time that our soul resides in, we are many things at many times, and this is just the current incarnation with its own veils to stop us witnessing all of those. So anyway, let's get on and see what Oceanus would like to say to us. Because the sea is purifying, but there's something, I do get like there's a sense of a sort of a warlike battle going on with a warning. Oh, there you go, look. I can't see if that's in the thing, the light's too bad. So we have the Knight of Cups, and he's got his swordfish in front of him. He's got seahorses around his crown chakra, and there is coral. Now the energy I'm getting from this is that water is preparing itself to have a kind of battle with humanity. Look, this is the age of Aquarius after all, they're saying to me. Water is trying to purify at the moment, but we're not listening to nature. And now that Saturn, the abundant agricultural thing, also today is Saturnalia in the old calendar. This is when things get turned upside down on their head. Thank you. So this is the beginning of this new energy. It's kind of hangman energy. Everything being turned upside down. I'm going to see if we have another card to go with the King of Cups, and then we're going to go to other decks. Okay, this is war. We have the Chariot. The sea is preparing to go to war with us. I don't mean the sea, I mean water and emotions. I mean that sense of, look, orcas and dolphins are interdimensional beings. They're both here and they're on other levels, but unlike us, their veils are lifted because they don't live in 12 frequency. They just exist, and so they're constantly connected to their other dimensional beings. Unlike us, we're veiled. And it's interesting that around this area and down towards southern Spain, there's a pod of orcas that have started to attack fishing ships. And one of the messages that keeps coming through is our abuse of the seas. We are constantly abusing the seas. Look, we talk all the time about don't fly, it's polluting, but no one ever talks about all the pollution that shipping does, bringing goods, transporting goods around the world. You know, they vent toxins into the sea, and yet we never talk about this. And the oceans are also stressed at the fact that there are certain large corporations that are about to start mining the seabed for minerals, and the area of land that they're planning on mining, because it's international waters, so it comes under disputed territories, is the size of France and Germany put together. That's a vast area, and they're going to go to the bottom of the seabed and just churn the whole thing up. So the sea is preparing, water is preparing, the cosmic emotional forces are preparing, Gaia, Uranus, that frequency of consciousness is preparing a volley. Okay, so we're going to have a look with the Muse Tarot, see what else comes through. Okay, so they're giving me, hang on, the wind is picking up and I'm still going to risk being down here. So we have the Six of Materials and the Seven of Voices. So the Six of Materials, while being about the natural world, is talking about how the natural world has always mirrored the behavior of humanity towards the natural world. But now the natural world has decided to tip that balance and actually to push harder on us, to stress out the human race, to wake us up to this shadow, dark corruption that we level on all Earth. We're no longer behaving like we're a symbiotic species. We're full of gut bacteria. We have microbes all over our skin. You know, the hand sanitizers that we're using contain these dangerous forever chemicals that never break down. We're trying to somehow close humanity off from the natural world entirely. We have light pollution. We no longer see the stars and the cosmos. And then we have our pitch, our music that we listen to has been artificially raised to 440 so that we no longer have that sense of healing from music in our bodies. And the age, the industrial age, has created these vast mechanical running electrical frequencies that are also not natural worldly rhythms. And we have to wake up and question how we live and how we move forwards. And the sea, the water, the emotions are asking us to wake up. So, Page of Voices and the Two of Materials. So it came with the Two of Materials first. We need to change. This is a changing frequency. These, they're saying to me, are talking about that sense of Saturn and Jupiter coming into this great conjunction and changing things. Changing our emotions, because the frequency is going to start working now in Aquarius on the collective, and this is representing, it's never done that before, this is representing the age of Aquarius. She has a star on her finger, and the star card is an Aquarian energy. There's a great swirling of cosmic frequency, and there's a notion of the kind of selfish party-like existence that we've had being pushed into a black and whiteness so that we can put on our glasses and wake up to the new frequencies that are being brought in. So I have a double deck of the Aleister Crowley in two different sizes. I was told that we need to do this because we need to see the opposing fractal energies and how we're moving from one fractal to the other. So I'm going to put down a series of large ones and small ones and talk about what that journey is between these two polarities that have opened up. So possibly 3 cards. We'll just see what gets delivered. So we've got the 7 of Swords, the 9 of Cups, and the 3 of Cups in large. And then we've got the 6 of Cups, Prince of Swords, oh, and then the Lovers. We also have 3 other cards that are coming out. 2228. So I'm going to ask the 3 other cards to go in the larger set with those. Oops. So very interesting because in this next set it's given us the only matching fractal, which is change, which is the 2 of Pentacles. Change. We're on a change point. So we'll come back to those. So we're beginning with this is a card of exit, 7 of Swords. Oh, it's Moon in Aquarius. It's Moon in Aquarius now. And we have on here also, oh, I need to just hide them back under the cloth because they're trying to blow away. Moon in Aquarius, we also have Venus and Mars, Jupiter, Taurus, and 2 swords. But Moon in Aquarius is the key energy. We are Moon in Aquarius. And the moon is going to pass by. It passed by yesterday by Saturn and Jupiter while they were in Capricorn, and now today it's just moved into Aquarius, along with Saturn, and Jupiter will join the party very shortly. So this is about leaving things behind, going from and exiting that kind of, well, it's the same card. This is what it's echoing things. It's talking about how these are fractals. This is that frequency that we keep getting of 777. A creative cosmic change taking place. So we're exiting, they're saying to me we're exiting selfishness, individualism, to move towards 6 of Cups, pleasure, but this is about reunion, uniting, soulmates, connection. And here we have the Sun in Scorpio. So it's like a rebirth. It's an energy frequency of rebirthing. Moon in Aquarius to exit. Exiting into the energy of the collective and rebirthing in the frequency of moving together as people united as one. I'm going to put in between each of these a Lenormand card or 2, depending on what comes out. Okay, this has got 3. 10, 35, 27. So it's beginning with Scythe. Now Scythe is giving me the energy, firstly, of tidying up how we behave to the natural world, not just the sea, the whole natural world. We're toxifying the natural world. And look, don't get me wrong, I know that many people would like our world to be treated better, but it's our governments, our corporations that are not listening because they're dealing with the desire for profit. And we have to stop profiting off the land and just being sustained by the land. And this is that notion of commerce. So commerce is represented by harvesting crops and then taking them to the market to make profit on them. This card is also talking about, with the 2 yellow butterflies, transformation. It's very much echoing this card of the collective coming together. But what it's talking about is how we need to harvest not just how we consider ourselves, not who do we think we are, but who are we really. We have to chop away all the delusions and illusions that we've created that we say are our personality. We have to change those. But we also have to do the same in the way in which we consume. Because look, I'm being reminded that while we talk quite often about there being a Pluto return coming in the 19th or 20th or something of February 2022 on the Declaration of Independence of America, so their Pluto return. This is also the Pluto return currently that we're in for the Industrial Revolution, which was mechanicalizing the world, and also capitalism. So there's a great awakening and a great reckoning coming around many things that we need to work out how we exit towards a better balance now. And then we have the anchor. And the anchor has got this pelican, and the pelican it kind of represents greed, the gannet. We've almost disconnected, we've unanchored ourselves entirely from Earth. So this is that message from earlier about how we no longer see the cosmos for its fullness. We had a power cut here a couple of times. The first time was a very cloudy, rainy day, and it was the rain that caused it. The second time the power just went out, and a neighbour knocked on the door and said, look, you should come out, you can see, because all the street lights went out everywhere, you could see the Milky Way and the cosmos. And my goodness, we all deserve to see the splendour of the cosmos in its natural form. It's so beautiful, but street lighting has allowed us to forget to create a spiritual connection to the greater universe. And then, as I say, frequency has stopped our bodies healing. So these are things that are coming back. There is a divine surprise coming. I want to know what it is, but I don't think that they'll tell me. I'm just going to try with these cards to see whether we get a hint. Is there any idea of what that divine surprise might be? I'm getting 4 cards. So I have the 5 of Cups, which is about an energy of sadness and disappointment. Life being spilled over and people not being able to deal with this energy. I have the card of the Magician, and this Magician is coming across as the frequency of trying to control. This is like the Industrial Revolution. It's man trying to control the natural world through mechanics, through everything, and how the natural world has no rhythm which you can capture and replicate. And actually I'm hearing an anvil hitting a thing with clocks and everything, the tick-tocking of sounds, the measurements to within, nanoseconds of things are all illusionary. they're all creating something which is no longer sustainable. And then we have a tower moment. And this tower moment, we often hear people talking about how it's breaking down the old order. It's not just the old order, it's breaking down the whole of 12 frequency. And that includes elements within our own emotional and physical distortions. And then it ends with the King of Wands. It's not my King of Wands. But it's about coming into Zen with divine spark. The energy I'm getting on him is the sort of, I want to say the burning away of things, but there's no flame, there's no heat, there's no sense of this being sort of aggressive. The seas are saying it becomes harder the longer you resist. But the sooner we can encourage our governments and our corporations to settle down and be more honest, then the gentler this frequency change will be. But there will be some drama. There is definitely drama to come. It's interesting, I just saw Saturn in the bottom of this card, but it's not really there. But I still get that sense of like street lighting, like a solar flare coming at some point and just disconnecting all electricity temporarily so that we can witness the splendor of the universe. Which, you know, I have to be honest, does get me a bit excited. So, the next one we have is, they're asking me to reverse this. This is the growing frequency of the Prince of Swords and the happiness. So, the Prince of Swords is Enlil. Enlil. So, Enlil was the god in the Sumerian culture who separated heaven and earth to make space for humanity, and Ninlil is his feminine flip side, and she brings those frequencies back together. So they're saying that this frequency of 12, oh, and he is 12, how marvelous, is being squashed away now, is being pushed aside as the collective frequency emotionally grows stronger to create the change. So let's see what we can slip from Madame Lenormand's deck in between. Oh, we've got 3 again. So we've got home, we have birds, and we have the moon. So, home has got this sense of borders, enclosure, prisons. It's us in COVID. And this is how the cosmos is bringing an energy towards us to break us from this imprisonment that we're under at the moment. Look, spirit is coming to knock the walls down, to bust through this frequency, to allow us to communicate better, being drawn as well to this kind of, this vase at the front that's an illusion. It's like there's a kind of prettiness, and the bird spirit is swirling around now to bring about this busting open of the walls, and it wants our attention, and it's releasing that there's a chain just here. It's releasing us from our bondage to the past to the frequency of Enlil that has been this distortion that we've been under, this energy of being controlled as humanity alone tries to control. We have to move back towards nature. And then this is really talking about that. This moon energy here is a shepherd, and he's with his sheep and he's outdoors. Look, I'm not saying we have to throw away homes, that's not my point, but it's talking about how the release of all the boundaries, all the barriers, all the walls that are closing us in and forcing us into this frequency that's becoming wearisome for people now, is becoming incredibly difficult to live under, and how that's moving us towards this united energy of I want to say manifesting wishes, because it is a wish card and it has Jupiter and Pisces hidden within it, and they're kind of saying that we have to prepare ourselves for this to be something that takes a while, but the longer we can make it take, the gentler the frequency of it will be. And it's not about some kind of violent uprising against each other, because then we're just hurting each other. What we need to be doing is building our strength as the populace to bring about change as a collective. And now we have this frequency of abundance and the lovers, which is 3-6. Oh, a 9. It's so beautiful. 3, 6 and 9. Now this is inner work. The 3 is an abundance of inner emotions. The 6 is co-creating a new world with spirit that has yet to expand and grow. And what's missing from the equation? Our collective divinity that is the cosmos when we get to witness it. So I'm still getting that image of us seeing the Milky Way. That brief glimpse I was given feels like it's a gift that's coming to us all. So what's between the 3, 6? What's between this 3 and the 6? Can you please tell me what's between Lenormand? Oh, she's going on the floor. 17 and 18, and there is an 11 in Roman numerals and Aries. This is stork and dog. So stork is about returning to a nest after migrating, and this is really talking about how we're returning to our spiritual home, our emotional home, that emotional pink print that came up, and new life. Look, baby in a cup. I love baby in a cup. Baby in a cup is talking about how we're moving to this Ninlil frequency, this new energy in this collective age, where eventually children will be born with a combined heart chakra. No longer this split where our bodies have been detuned and are becoming ever more ill at ease and sick and toxic, and how we've been separated from our consciousness, but bringing the frequencies together through conscious light language and retuning musical pitch and removing that anvil banging, industrial age frequency, bringing, the sea is so healing. They know that the frequency of the sea, in studies that they've done, British government published a paper to do with ultrasound and infrasound, and they said that the sound of the sea can regenerate muscle tissue, flesh and things. So when in Britain we talk about the Georgians going to the seaside for a cure, it's very healing. And maybe that's why I can't keep away from it. And then dog is loyalty, warmth, comfort, a new home, a home that's no longer a prison. So then the other little set of cards that we had, I just need to put that over because the wind's really trying to take the story away. So this is talking about the change in consciousness is coming in very fast, explosively. And here we have the High Priestess. She is the veil that stops us being connected like whales and dolphins are to their other dimensional selves. And this is like the High Priestess is going to lift the veil very suddenly on the whole of humanity. Maybe we all have a moment where there is some kind of whiteout. No longer can we be contacted via any form of media for a few days while things are repaired. But it will give Spirit a chance to visit us all with a collective vision of something better, and then we would have to work on it. So this is kind of talking about the energy of divine feminine Gaia Uranus frequency. And then down here, this is so beautiful, we have change again, change in the physical world, and we're being given the Queen and the Knight of Cups. This is the King and the Queen. This is being in emotionally stable relationships with each other, and we're not talking just about, you know, my fantasy of my King of Rods, King of Wands turning up, but we're talking about this collective frequency, this divine communion of humankind to come together and work as emotionally stable chorus throughout the world. No longer, you know, no longer buying cheap clothes at the expense of the fact that some person living in some other part of the world is living a life of misery so that we can wear a cheap t-shirt. We've got to bring this energy forwards where every single human is equal. And I don't know what that means for salaries, wages. How we work this forwards is something that we've got years to work on, but we have to face the fact that the way we've been living has been corrupt for too long now. And while we often say this, our leaders have not been listening, and it's time for them to listen. So the important thing is this 8-8. You know, we've been getting this 8-8 frequency quite a lot. I know it's 2-2 as well, and that is 2022. But it's about changing the frequency, switching the energies. And again, this is being brought to us with Jupiter, and it's got all four elements being transformed, the yin and the yang almost becoming the yang and the yin, everything being turned on its head. So I'm just going to ask for a couple of cards to end before they all blow away. So can I please have Oceanus and the Orcas, on and ever onwards. So what do we have? Oh, actually, I thought that was one card, but there's 3. So I want to. This is Two of Wands vision, changing, new frequencies coming down. The energy of the third eye and the lower heart chakra opening a new portal that's coming in, and that new portal is bringing everybody back in from the cold. But there's a sense, this card for the first time, it's odd. It's the Five of Coins, and this Five of Coins is often about being left out of an equation. Cards are blowing everywhere. Being left out, being shut up, being excommunicated. And I always think that this card's got this wonderful hand reaching forward to bring us back in. But actually, what this card is saying to me today is moving forwards and reaching out for something new that leaves behind the old. It leaves behind money, almost, is what they're saying. And then we're moving towards the frequency of the Queen of Coins, this wonderful protective energy of humanity at one with the world, and the Four of Wands, which is the card of bliss, happy home, marriage. But I want to say it's like a marriage of humanity, humankind, in the true frequency of the natural world, moving to a new societal, I don't know the word that I need to put with it. I kind of just want to say a form of societal bliss, moving forwards from the old, changing everything, coming into one. Maybe there's a reading coming, because I do need to do a great conjunction reading that will involve Jupiter, but Jupiter's presence was really big in this. And remember, Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto are the three lords of karma, and Saturn is now already, as the agricultural planet, is already bringing in the energy of raising the frequency of our lower heart to connect with the natural world around us. Jupiter will be bringing in that frequency of the cosmic higher heart. That's really it's really Venus, but what it's doing is Jupiter brings in our energy wings, and our energy wings are our light body beings that exist in many other dimensions to help purify the frequencies of all of our chakras. So that's Oceanus and the Orcas. Interesting, not a very watery message, but they want me to just go back and say the importance of their frequency is not just the cosmic changes that are coming down, but this need for us to remember the ocean and to fix this notion of the pollution of shipping, of even pleasure boats. You know, everyone with a speedboat, you've got little bits of petrol and oil coming off all over the seas, and the world, the ocean is at the end of its tether. And the more we push against these changes of accepting our symbiotic nature with the natural world, the more aggressive the natural world will keep coming. You know, even, you know, floods, earthquakes, forest fires, all of these things are signs that we're still not listening to. And the natural world, Saturn's moved into the collective, and it's going to start feeding into our dreams. So that's the message from Oceanus and the Orcas. Wassail beautiful people.